Okay, kindergarten. So today what we're going to do is we are going to make a Diya. So you're going to need a few materials. So if you'll look at Miss Russell, I'll try to make myself a little bit bigger so that you can see me a little bit better, and then move myself over. Well, maybe not. So that you can see that. I'll show you the picture here again in a minute. Okay, so what you're going to need is you're going to need a paper plate. And so you'll just need a regular white paper plate, just like this. You can either use some markers, or if you have paint at home and you like to paint, that might be an option for you. And then I've got just a couple of pieces of construction paper. You could either use orange or yellow in order to make the flame or the fire for your Diya. All right, before we get started, I just wanted to show you a picture of a real, or not a picture, but a real Diya. That one was given to me from some of my students from the previous years. And so I just wanted to show you what it really looks like. I know a lot of you probably already know, but some of you may have never seen a real one before. But that is what we're trying to make today. Of course, when we make paper crafts, it's not going to look exactly like it, but a little bit. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my paper plate and I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to look for about halfway across the paper plate, and I am going to cut my paper plate in half. And don't worry about it if it's not straight. It's okay if it's not perfect. Okay, and so now we have the half piece that we can use to make our Diya. Now, if you wanted to make it two-sided, you could use the other side and you could just glue it on the other side. Miss Russell's just going to use one side like this. So I find it easiest. It's kind of hard to use markers on this waxy side, so I'm going to color on this. So whenever it's time for Miss Russell to use her paint or make her designs, this is the side that she's going to do it on because it feels more like paper. And you'll kind of see and you'll try if you write with markers or color with markers and it kind of makes, smears a little bit, then you probably need to flip it over to the other side and use the back side. So the part that sticks up that's kind of poofy is the part that Miss Russell's going to use. So I'm not going to color my whole thing. I'm just going to start it. But if you look over here just a minute ago, when you were looking at my plans, you could see that they made some designs over here. And so that's what I'm going to start out with. I'm going to use my markers and I'm just going to kind of make some designs on it. So I'm just going to do kind of one piece because it would take me a long time to sit here and do all of it. So I'm just going to do a little bit of it to kind of show you what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to kind of make mine look like theirs a little bit, maybe a little bit different. And just know that this part is not my finished product, that I'm going to go back and I'm going to add lots of color so that all the white spaces are filled in just like you see in the picture there. Okay, so I've made one little design on the bottom. So when I thought about the one that I had right here, it just made me think of the color blue. And so I just made that there. So I would continue on coloring and filling in my white spaces. Okay, then the next step of what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to get a piece of paper. And I think that I'm actually going to use both. I'm going to use the yellow and I'm going to use the orange. So I'm going to start with the orange first, and I'm just going to draw what looks like a flame. And so that's kind of like in the shape of an oval. So at the bottom, it's kind of oval, and then at the top, it kind of makes a point. Almost kind of looks like a raindrop in a way. So all I did was draw it first because that just makes it easier for me. And then I will go and I will cut that out. So I just made the oval and I'm going to cut it out. And then what I'm going to do with the yellow paper is I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to make an oval just like I did here. And I'm going to cut it out. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller. And then I'll show you what it's going to look like here in just a minute. So let me make my oval at the bottom. And then I kind of go up to the top and I make a little raindrop. And there it is. And then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut it out on the lines. Like that. And then I'm going to need my glue stick. So I've got my glue stick right here. And I'm just going to take the orange piece and I'm going to glue the yellow piece right on top of it to make my flame look like this. I'm just going to get a little bit of glue. I'm going to put it on the back of the yellow so that I don't get glue, unnecessary glue, on my orange piece. And then I'm just going to try to stick it down right close to the middle to where it looks like a flame, like this. And then I would take my glue and I would glue this right here. So if all you have is a glue stick and you don't have any white glue, you're going to have to make sure that you use enough to make it stick, because sometimes with glue sticks, if you just use a little bitty bit on things that are not paper and they're a little bit waxy, like this paper plate, you have to make sure that you use a little bit so that it sticks. And then Miss Russell pushes down really hard with her hands, and then there we've got it. We've got our Diya. So that is what your job is going to be today. It's going to be to create a Diya. I hope you guys have fun.